Jordan Akivo charged with the federal charge of carjacking resulting in death.
Breaking new developments in that deadly carjacking investigation. 2 people now facing charges in connection to the death of Catherine Aguas Vivas. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Matt Austin.
And I'm Lisa Bell. The Seminole County Sheriff revealing new charges and a new arrest about 2 hours ago. Now, this all started with that carjacking at the intersection of East Lake Drive and Tuscaloosa Road near Winter Springs. It was captured by a witness nearly 2 weeks ago. Detectives say Catherine Aguas Vivas from South Florida was then held at gunpoint by a masked man who got out of that green Acura. The Seminole County Sheriff's Office believes they now have the gunman and the driver of that Acura in custody. We want to get right out to News 6's Catherine Silver with more on these breaking developments. Catherine?
Yeah, the sheriff told us they believe they now have the most dangerous people involved in this carjacking off of the streets. And that is what they have been working towards since that video first came out of the carjacking nearly 2 weeks ago now. So first off, there is Jordanish Torres Garcia. You may remember he was arrested Friday on federal gun charges. The sheriff says that he is the masked man with a gun seen committing this crime, and they now plan on charging him with carjacking involving death. It will be a federal case. Then there is Kevin Ocasio-Justiano. The sheriff is calling him by his street name, Kivo. Detectives believe he is likely the one that was driving that green Acura that followed Catherine Aguas Vivas. Investigators say Kivo was just arrested in Puerto Rico on federal weapons charges and drug trafficking. This afternoon, the sheriff laid out what evidence they have that ties him to this carjacking case.
He was introduced to us because the red Toyota Corolla that picked up the 2 occupants of the green Acura moved into that vehicle. That vehicle was registered to a relative of his, and then his phone records put him at the scene of the carjacking, along with Jordan.
And the sheriff also gave us an update on another arrest, Giovanni Crespo Hernandez. They've been looking for him since last week when we learned he may have been one of the last people to speak with Catherine Aguas Vivas on the phone as she was driving here. We were there as he faced a judge this afternoon after he turned himself in late last night at the jail. Investigators had searched his home and found fentanyl and weed, and ultimately he is facing charges for that. The sheriff told us today that Catherine was likely headed to his house when she left South Florida. And we asked again today, what is the motive? Why did all of this happen? The sheriff told us anyone who has been watching this case knows it is all about drugs and money, and they hope to share more specific details with us as they continue to investigate. For now, I'm live in Seminole County. Catherine Silver, Getting Results, News 6.
It seems like every day we have some breaking new developments in this case. Catherine, thank you. And as we keep mentioning, there are several people involved in this widening investigation. So let's start with the victim, Catherine Aguas Vivas. That's the woman who was last seen leaving her home in Homestead back on April 11th and drove to Seminole County. That's where detectives say she was carjacked. Her SUV was later found badly damaged by a fire in Osceola County. Investigators believe her body was found inside that burned white SUV. Then there's Aguas Vivas' husband, Miguel, who the sheriff says is now no longer cooperating with this investigation, but detectives were able to search his cell phone, which led them to Orange County Deputy Francisco Estrella Chacon. Now, Estrella Chacon is accused of calling one of the detectives in the case while using a fake name to get more details about this investigation. He's also accused of sharing personal information about that detective. Now, on Friday, we learned a person of interest in the armed carjacking was arrested on federal gun charges, but not related to this case. Jordanish Torres Garcia is believed to be the masked man who carjacked Catherine. And just hours ago, the Seminole County Sheriff said phone records put him at the scene. Detectives have not established a direct connection between Torres Garcia and Catherine, but they have linked her to Giovanni Crespo Hernandez. The sheriff says He is the last person to speak with Catherine during her drive from South Florida to Seminole County. He was arrested on drug charges today. The Seminole County Sheriff says this is Crespo Hernandez's girlfriend right over there. She was arrested for picking up a drug delivery in Osceola County last week. Now, if you missed any of this or need a refresher, want to see it again, we have it all detailed for you on our website, clickorlando.com. Just look for this story.